Pauline Hanson has delivered one of the defining addresses of her life in her first appearance at the National Press Club, filled with fire and brimstone.
She had plenty of targets as she outlined her vision for Australia, which abandons multiculturalism and scraps maternity leave. And protesters hit back right there in the room.
At Pauline Hanson's first ever press club lunch, an uninvited guest unfurls, making nasty comments behind her back. The banner quickly torn down.
Just tell me, is this another first?
I believe it is. I get a lot of firsts in my life.
It is. Protest group GetUp claiming responsibility, protesting outside. While inside, GetUp's new campaign director David Shiraz, husband of former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins, making a swift exit soon after. A stunt first used against Britain's reform leader Nigel Farage, who shares Pauline Hanson's central message.
We cannot be a multicultural society.
Insisting Australia can be multiracial,
but we must be monocultural.
Promising to slash net migration to 130,000 people a year and deport 75,000 overstayers.
Western civilisation and its values are under siege.
The centre of attention, despite an orchestrated diversion, 9 ministers all talking on different issues. The biggest $3.6 billion to continue funding 15% pay rises for 200,000 childcare workers for another 18 months.
What we've done in areas such as this is make sure that workers can be properly paid.
That an obvious dig at Pauline Hanson, who's fighting to represent working Australians but opposing minimum wage rises, same jobs, same pay and wage theft laws, and arguing the bosses should have more power to sack staff. How is any of that helping working Australians?
Well, I'd tell you, Mark, is it really working for small business out there, industries and manufacturing?
And on the gender pay gap, this.
The difference is that if women take time off and they are not paid their wages because they're not working, fair enough. Why should business pay them if they're not at work?
An argument against maternity leave. Senator Hanson also promised to abolish the SBS and turn the ABC into a paid subscription service in the cities, redirecting its funding to cost of living relief. And that protest banner, a dumb stunt that will backfire spectacularly, giving One Nation's supporters even more reason to rally behind Pauline Hanson as a disruptor. The Press Club tonight sending the AFP evidence of 2 people erecting the remote control banner yesterday and of David Shiraz filming today's stunt on his phone before leaving, now facing a possible criminal investigation. Ange.
Mark, thank you. More than 5 million black market cigarettes and a tonne of loose tobacco has been seized in raids across Perth. The mammoth haul was thanks largely to tip-offs from worried parents and fearful businesses. As Lucy Murray reports, dozens of stores have been told to shut up shop.
A business model up in smoke. Signs slapped on almost 50 stores across Perth accused of selling illegal tobacco or vaping products.
The public are sick of these stores operating in their areas.
Community intel helping officers act quickly. It was only last month when the health department was given the power to shut stores for 90 days.
We get information from parents of students who are concerned about their children vaping, from the nearby stores who have excessive people coming and going from these stores.
Seized more than 1 tonne of loose tobacco, almost 5.5 million cigarettes, over 51,000 vapes and hundreds of vape accessories, 85 kilograms of shisha and almost 4,500 cigars, worth a total of $11 million. One argument to cut the illegal trade is lowering the tax on legal cigarettes to bring prices in line with the underground market. The idea has recently been backed by One Nation, but public health experts warn it would undo decades of anti-smoking progress.
Criminals selling $10 cigarettes don't pack up and go home because the price of legal cigarettes has been dropped a little bit. Reducing the tobacco tax would cause more addiction, more disease and more death across the Australian public.
Stores tonight on notice: stop or be stopped.
We may not get to the store today, we may not get to the store tomorrow, but we will get to the store.
Lucy Murray, 7 News.
Police have issued an unusual warning tonight over scammers posing as officers. Let's go to Cassidy Moscone at Police HQ. Cass, what's behind this alert?
Well, officers say they're experiencing a spike in spam callers, Tim. That is offenders using phone numbers linked to legitimate police stations attempting to obtain your personal details. WA Police, they want you to be vigilant and they want you to know that officers will never call and ask for personal financial details. They'll never demand payment or request remote access to your devices. The advice, if you're targeted, hang up and contact organisations using official website phone numbers. You can also report any scam attempts to cyber.gov.au or the Scamnet website. Ange?
Thanks for that, Cassidy. The split between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu is growing wider.
The US president has laid into Israel's prime minister in front of G7 leaders in France. And tonight, the Iran peace deal is hanging by a thread.
The G7 family and friends photo, Donald Trump confused about where to go, still reeling from the fallout of his latest feud, this time with Benjamin Netanyahu.
Now, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah.
Blaming the Israeli Prime Minister for global unrest and telling Netanyahu to be more responsible with Lebanon. Israel refusing to remove its troops in line with the Iran peace deal.
Without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
And this is why the US president face to face with the Gulf nations bearing the brunt of Iran's retaliation. Heaping praise on Middle East leaders, praise they returned.
You'll always be my friend. Highly respected people, great people.
I think you took the right decision.
Europe has big questions for the US president, but here in the French Alps, some of the world's most powerful people are doing everything they can to keep Donald Trump happy.
Given a football jersey, a belated birthday present.
That's great.
And as Ukraine is again embraced by world leaders.
Thank you for the invitation. Come on.
Donald Trump tells Vladimir Putin it's time to make a deal of his own.
Live now to Europe correspondent Isabel Mullen. Izzy, Donald Trump is under pressure to reveal details of the peace deal.
He is, Ange. Good evening. The President is promising to hold a news conference to read out the text of that new Iran deal word by word. It's only a page and a half, so it shouldn't take long, but it really will provide us with the context and what we can expect from that major deal. Donald Trump wraps up his visit here to the French Alps later today with a final day of meetings before heading over to Paris. There he will be wined and dined by French President Emmanuel Macron at the Palace of Versailles. Once lived in by French kings and queens, Donald Trump has described the palace as a real deal. Tim.